Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra Wair. So, hi, guys. I hope you guys are having a stupendous, amazing, fantastic week. I am having a stupendous, amazing, fantastic week. Last time I talked to y'all, I told y'all I was coming back the next week, and I lied. Sorry. But I did say in that episode that I had something super exciting to share, and lo and behold, Thank you to all the people who have told me congratulations about my new car. If you're an audio listener and did not get to see what I just showed, I am now the owner of a 2025 Jeep Sahara named Bishop, and he is named after character in Euphoria, Mr. Bishop himself. I didn't talk about Euphoria for What We Watchin', and I don't think I'm going to talk about Euphoria for What We Watchin'. But if y'all want to know my thoughts and my takes about Euphoria, please let me know. I don't want to be a spoiling ass spoiler because that's what the people be saying when I... Hello, everybody. If you do not know me, my name is LaTerra Wair. I am a digital media creator here across various platforms on the internet, and this is one of the things that I do. I wanted to make this episode kind of a little different because I feel like I started this podcast because I think there are things that I do have very delusional takes on. I sit in the wrong side of delusion quite often, and that more so just being like mentally, I guess, like not trying to say I'm crazy, but I'm just saying like I just be having real delusional thoughts and whatever. I kind of wanted to talk about something that really plagues my brain quite often. That is the thought of feeling like death is approaching. Trigger warning, this isn't going to be a death is approaching in a sad way. This is going to be a death is approaching in a convoluted way, which is why I'm talking about it, because I've learned through years now of thinking like, I understand why I feel like this. And it's kind of weird why I feel like this, but just wait, I'm going to explain. Let me backtrack. I'm in a season of my life. I am in a moment in my life. And I tell you guys all the time, I'm so grateful. I am so thankful. I think that there are so many really good things happening. I think that I am truly a highly favored and blessed individual. I think that I pray every day about my work ethic. I pray to be better within myself, to be better for other people, and to be better within life, right? And I think that for me, and for what I feel, I am living in answered prayer. I am living in answered manifestation. Because of that, I find myself quite often feeling like I think undeserving. I think that's truly what that is. And I never want to say that and be so dramatic and be like, I just don't think I deserve anything good. Cause like that is what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. Like, I've always said, if you work for something, you get the result, right? So I do think that there are things that I've worked for. So yes, I'm deserving of that reward because I worked for it. That's like a simple 1 + 1 is 2. What I'm saying more so is life for me just 3 years ago. And I'm saying just 3 years ago because 3 years is not a lot of time, but there's a lot of stuff that can happen within 3 years. I was in a place of such vulnerability. I was in a place of hurt. I was in a place of looking for understanding and looking to understand myself. I didn't know how to just be, how to just live, how to just let things kind of work out the way that they were supposed to work out. And I think that I sought for this sense of control because I felt like I had no control in so many situations. There was a point in my life where I just had to be like, you need to understand the controllable chart. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this diagram. Basically a diagram, and it's saying like all the things that you can control within your bubble and all the things that you can't control within your bubble. And I had to sit there and be like, there are certain things that you cannot control. There are certain things that you will not be able to control, and you just have to let that go. And I feel like when I let that go and I really just started pushing and working on everything that I had say over, my life drastically changed. I stopped expecting things. I stopped wanting things out of people that weren't me. I had to develop this mentality that if it's not you saying that you're going to give it to yourself, or if it's not you saying you're going to do this for yourself, do not rely and put all of your eggs in a basket. And that's not any disrespect to anybody, because don't get it wrong, I had people who showed up for me in life when I was at really hard moments, when I didn't know where to go, when I didn't know who to talk to, right? And I'm forever thankful for those people. I am saying though, when I was by myself, it was hard, right? I saw this post the other day, and I think it was on X, and they were talking about how there are people who there's not a bad thought that may run through their mind. Me, I'm someone who's thinking about 30 things every second of every day, thinking about all these different possibilities, thinking how I could possibly get in trouble for something that I don't know I'm gonna get in trouble for. Like, all these different things is what I'm saying. It's crazy to think that there are people who just go through life quiet, just go through life kind of existing in the blissfulness and the peace of knowing that life is just life. That is the truth. Like, life is just life. And so when I understood that, and my life started moving forward, my life kind of kept moving forward. I think that I don't want to say been on a trajectory up, because I feel like that emphasizes that you will have a fall down. I think that I've just been building a very steady and stable increase of good things for myself. I think that I've been building good relationships. I've been building good financial skills. I've been building good organization skills, building good habits within myself, within my person. And I sit back and I get in a tizzy because I'm so grateful, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's why I had to say that when I talk about death in this aspect, it's not really a death of a sadness. It feels more so like a death of an ego, right? Like, it feels like I told myself for so long that this couldn't happen to me. I told myself for so long this couldn't happen to me. And so now when I'm on the playing field of seeing the things happen, it feels like I'm dying, or I get this overarching fear that, like, oh my God, I must be about to die. My life is too good. You get what I'm saying? Like, and please let me know if you have ever felt like that, because I don't think that that's something that I have ever just talked about with anybody. I think that more so I didn't want to feel super crazy in my head thinking something like that, but I do actually find myself thinking about that quite often. I find myself thinking that, like, I'm so happy, and like, I guess I just don't deserve to be that happy, and so the answer must be I'm about to die. Hello? Isn't that insane? That is one of the most delusional mindsets that I have. I don't know why I have that. I don't know why I feel so like undeserving in that aspect. And to add on to that effect, I was having a conversation with my boyfriend and my brother, and we were talking about the purchase of my car. And my boyfriend was just kind of like, yeah, you know, like, she gets all these good things and she does all this like accomplishing stuff, and she's just always kind of like, yeah, you know, that's cool, whatever. My brother was like, yeah, she's just kind of really humbled. Like, that's just how we've always been. You know, I think that I walk around so humbled in life, and it's because life has humbled me. People get online and they talk about how, like, your life is this highlight reel, and like what you guys see on the internet is this highlight reel. If you know me and you've seen me, I have shared a lot of vulnerable parts of my life online, right? I've shared a lot of like bad stuff that's happened, good stuff that's happened, like breakups, sadness, restarting, all this. But I don't think I've ever sat there and really dove into it with the internet, and not saying the internet is in such a place that's so far, because I do feel like this community of people I'm building, I feel like the community of people that show up for me every week, that comment on all my stuff every week, that congratulate me, that do all these things, like, this is a community of people that is here for me. I also am not ignorant to the fact that once you put something into the ether, like, the ether is going to do what the ether is going to do, and you have no choice in that. I've never got on here and just really showed y'all how life has humbled me. I have had moments where I'm like sitting in my car falling apart. I've had moments where I'm sitting in my room falling apart. There was this moment 4 years ago, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago now, I don't even know, like 6 years ago, where I was laying in a bed and it was a completely dark room and there was daytime happening, and I felt like it was 8 p.m. for an entire 36 hours. I lost like 10 pounds in a week. I was sad, I was miserable, I was depressed, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I felt a physical pain wrenching in my body, And I truly think that was one of the most humbling parts of my life. I think that from certain experiences, I've kind of learned that no matter how far you think you can go, when you feel like you were just in control of every single thing, and when you feel like it could never be you, it will always be you. And that's not me saying this as someone who's like pessimistic or saying this as someone who like is trying to sway anyone a different way. That's just me speaking from real life experience. My most humble moments have come from when I thought that I was always so different. They've come from when I've always lived at this like hierarchy of self, and I forgot like, hey, you're a person. Bad things can happen to you. You could get sick. Someone could leave you. That for me is crazy. Like, I think that sometimes we forget that as people. And so now basically from all these moments in my life, I think that I'm so happy and so happy about so many things. And like, I'm gassed, guys, when I tell you, like, I sit in my car and I think about every single moment that's gotten me up to this. I think about a 13-year-old girl who wanted a Jeep for so long. I took this picture back in, I want to say 2017, right here. If you guys are listening on audio, this is a picture of me with the red Jeep Sahara in 2017. And I'm telling you guys, like, this is the car I've wanted for my whole life. And I got to a point where I didn't think I could have it. I got to a point where my Jeep Renegade, shout out Josie, I thought that I was so lucky to have that car. I thought that I was just so lucky. And like, I had a talk with my boyfriend. He was talking to me about how he was like, dude, you work hard. Like, if you can't get the car that you want and you work this hard, I don't understand what working hard is about then. And I think that stuff like that just doesn't really dawn on me. I think stuff like that is where I live in kind of a humble paralysis bubble, I guess. It just really is crazy. And I'm bringing this story up to say that sometimes I do feel like I just live in this state of fear, this state of shock, this state of just being so paranoid and so afraid to lose everything, I guess, that I just think that I can't speak up. I can't like say how overly happy I am. I can't pop my shit because I'm scared. What if it all falls apart? And I'm saying that to say this same fear carries into the fact of when life gets too good for me, I just think that something bad has to be coming. And sometimes life just good, you know, like sometimes life is just good, and that's what that is. Like sometimes your family's good, your money's good, your health is good, like your experiences are good, your job is good. All these things kind of line up. I haven't felt like everything's lined up for so long. I'm afraid to speak on how good things are because I don't want to manifest something bad happening, but that's not how life works either. You know what I mean? That's just that. And I wanted to share that with you guys because we talk about a lot of stuff on here, and I don't think that not everything that we talk about is so like out the box delusional or so whatever. And I do want to share like, you know, thoughts and stuff that I be going through my mind, like that be going through my mind. This be rocking my brain sometimes. And I'm like, damn, I must be about to die. And then I go into a psychosis, and then y'all don't see me because I'm in a psychosis. I'm not making an excuse for why I don't be posting, I swear. I just want to tell y'all about that. Moving into the next segment, getting into our You're Delusional segment. If you guys do not know what the You're Delusional segment is, because we have some new people here. The You're Delusional segment is a segment where I give you guys a hot take that I've heard this week, or a hot take that someone has sent in that they might find delusional, kind of like what I just shared about my own personal self. And we just talk about it. We share our thoughts and opinions about this one. The You're Delusional this week is going to be about one of my favorite topics, which is oversharing can be the death of a relationship. This topic comes because I was having a talk with some of my friends, and we were just talking about the concept of oversharing, and I am a oversharer, especially if I'm super comfortable. If I'm not comfortable with a person, I'm not an oversharer, but if I am super comfortable, I'm a big oversharer. I do believe that oversharing can be the downfall to a relationship. whether, I don't know. I feel a little mixed about this because I think that if you were in a relationship with someone, depending on the relationship, I guess, you should be able to share whatever you want with that person. You should be able to share life experiences, to share like friendships, to share all this kind of stuff. I think the issue starts to become when you are oversharing and it is beginning to make the other person feel away. As someone who's been on the receiving end of this, I have had someone overshare things with me, and I've been in a place where I'm like, I don't want to tell you to stop oversharing with me because I don't want to make it feel like this is not a safe space. But what you are saying to me does make me feel uncomfortable, and it's making me feel uncomfortable, leaning icky uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes I think that oversharing in that sense could be very bad, and I think that you shouldn't overshare. I do think that it is important to have like a very open line of communication with whoever this other person may be, romantic, friendly, whatever. But I think that it's very important to have emotional awareness and awareness of self, especially awareness of self in relation to another person. So that is my take on that. I feel like I just walked the line and didn't answer. But if I have to answer, I'm going to say yes. Oversharing can definitely be the downfall to a relationship. Do y'all overshare? Are y'all overshares? I overshare in a sense of like, I give a lot of me, right? I love to tell people anything that they want to know about me. I don't like to be like secretive to people I care about. And if I find myself not being free and open to want to talk, then usually I don't really think that's someone who I kind of am myself around or I like to be around. Like, I understand there are certain things that are appropriate for certain situations, but I feel like if it's a situation where it could be appropriate and I still can't share, then like maybe I feel like I can't share. You get what I'm saying? But yes. But other than that, I love to key. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Moving into my favorite section, or what we watching. So this is actually a very recent fresh, as in yesterday fresh. So I watched The Return to Silent Hill. I was put on some game and they let me know that the Silent Hill originally was a video game, and then the first Silent Hill movie was lore based off this original video game. This is something that, you know, I didn't know. But as someone who is a horror movie lover and connoisseur, maybe this is something that I should know. Anyway, I watched this movie and I think that especially for a movie that is created by a streaming service, because when I was told that, I was like, oh, usually, I'm not gonna lie, some movies that are made by streaming services don't be bangers, and I don't know if it's the budget or I don't know if it's because they're trying to be real inclusive with this casting. But the acting don't be top notch. It be giving very, very acting, in which I'm not going to say because I actually like them. But if you know, you know. But watching this movie, it was very creepy. It gave me the same exact feels I got when I was watching Silent Hill as a child. I was crying, throwing up, scared, wanted to hide under my bed. I think that the body horror element of it was so eerie. Like the lady, the creatures, the hammerhead. I love a good story as well. I love when a character like redeems himself, when they take their arc back, take their power back. And that is very much so what this main character did. Throughout the twists and the turns, I love how they didn't give too much away and how you were still questioning, like, is this reality? Is he asleep? Is this a dream? Are you just sick? Like, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm involved. I want to be here. I want to know what's going on with you. That was very well played all the way up until the end. I think that my only gripe with this movie was literally the last 5 minutes, because if it's one of those things where it's like do you think that he was sleeping? Do you think that this really happened? I feel like it raises too many questions for me, but the ending just doesn't. It leads more towards something I don't want it to be. But that's my only gripe. But I think the color in the movie was so good. The practical effects, really, really good. I think the CGI was great. It has kind of nothing to do with the first Silent Hill, I feel like. Like, it correlates in the sense that they're both taking place in Silent Hill, but other than that, I don't really see the correlation. But maybe I missed it. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think of the movie. Have you seen the second Silent Hill? I don't know how I always feel about sequels, especially sequels being made to horror films, except for my tried and true Halloween and Friday the 13th movies. Love those. They're kind of bad towards the end, but I still love them nonetheless. Definitely rate the movie a solid 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was a really, really well-made horror movie. It's just the last 5 minutes, but I think I'm gonna ding it that whole last star for the last 5 minutes. So let me know what you guys have been watching. I've recently started watching this show called Resident Alien, and it's really my shit. I'm finna go put it on right after I hop out the stew. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking along with me on another episode of the podcast. If you like what you see here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are listening to my voice and like listening to stuff like this, be sure to like and rate the podcast on all of our audio streaming platforms. And if you are interested in more of the behind the scenes about the production company, about the stuff that I do as a digital media creator, you can always follow me at LT Legacy Productions on Facebook and Instagram. That is my business page. And you can also follow my personal content and just kind of stuff about my life on the day-to-day on Instagram, Facebook, and X at the LaTerra Wair. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast. The Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.